Hi, welcome to the MISchoolData technical update for September 2023. We are recording this session for others that are unable to make it today, but I know each of our technical contacts do rely on this webinar series to keep up to date with what's going on in MISchoolData. You'll find a tiny URL right on that main page, and it will take you to our slide deck. And we'll be moving through things pretty quick, but if you do have questions, please feel free to interrupt or put something in the chat, and we will be able to handle that question. Okay. Today we have Rhonda Provost, and Rhonda is our partner with the MISchoolData project and works with Macomb and Shiawassee RESD. And Kathy Miller isn't joining us today, but she is an ISD partner. And then I am so happy to bring also Cheryl Twishel from CEPI. So the state has a partnership as well with this group. So Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us and having a part of the agenda today.
You're welcome.
The MISchoolData has transitioned to a state leadership team, and the state leadership team is aligned with the MAISA regions. Each of the different folks that are representing those regions are on this chart, and they can also be found within the MISchoolData platform and under the technical contacts. And there is a hot link from this page when you go into the slide deck itself. So each of these folks are meeting on a routine basis monthly, as well as a few strategic planning in-person meetings throughout the year. We have several other technical updates, and we're trying to do them monthly. We skipped December because it's such a short month, but we are doing them monthly and trying to keep them to a half hour in length so that folks have an opportunity to come in, get what they need, and then get back to what they are doing for their jobs. So we want to make sure that this time is used well. We'll have our welcome, some information about our facilitation. Then we'll move to Cheryl for technical updates from our Center for Education Performance and Information, CEPI. Then we'll talk about statewide leadership team updates. Maybe there's some issues that you have, Nicole, or some things that we'll be sharing if there are issues for that particular month. And then we'll have a question and answer. So in the chat, if you please put your email as a record of your attendance, that helps us to know. Oh, you've got it already. You're so quick. Thank you, Nicole. So I'm going to pass things over to Cheryl Twishel for our CEPI update.
All right. Well, hi everyone, but right now that's Nicole. So hi, Nicole. So I'm going to make this pretty short and sweet and just talk about some recently released data and features and what's coming soon. And if you have any questions, I'll go ahead and answer those. So we had a lot of data updated recently. The big stuff recently was all of the assessment data. So you've got the grades 2 through 8, high school testing, college readiness, all of the WIDA data. In addition to that, there's other stuff. I'm not going to read every one of them, but there's all of this stuff right now that is publicly available or in preview on MISchoolData. And there is a second page because there was so much of it. So there's the parent dashboard metrics that have been recently released as well. And for those people that are not aware of it, that are technical administrators like yourself, we've got 3 new roles, I should say updated roles, that are now fully configurable. So the ISD user, district user, and school user roles, if you take a look at the screen, the screenshot on the right side of the PowerPoint page, you'll notice that everything now, there's no longer anything grayed out or inherently tied to a permission or a role. Basically, all the permissions are fully configurable. You can check and uncheck whatever you need for any one of those 3 roles. The only exception is the one highlighted in red, which is the manage researcher files, which is a CEPI only permission. So we just grayed that out so that you guys couldn't check that inadvertently. So basically, you can mold a role to each individual that you're managing and give them exactly what you need, whether it's administering a role or accountability permissions along with administration and access to data. So we're very excited to have that out for everyone.
One of the things, if I can interject, is that the feedback that we've received, both from our survey as well as from our statewide leadership group and technical contacts, is that there are so many hats that people wear in education that I don't necessarily have one role that fits with the exact permissions that someone decided were part of that role. And we spent a lot of time trying to make sure that we had all of them. In the end, it really needs to be fully configurable. And I'm very happy and thankful that Seppi and Cheryl in particular shepherded this particular functionality so that our technical administrators like myself and Nicole, yourself, can give people what they need and take away the things that they don't need. So, with that, I had to add that, Cheryl. So
No, you're
you breezed
perfectly
by
fine.
that really, really well, but I had to add that. Thank you.
I also want to mention for those of you that have had difficulty in the last how many years, specifically with the accountability roles, where you go into MISchoolData and the location menus aren't working, they're just blank, so you can't actually run a report and see anything. We are very happy to announce that last week we pushed a fix out that appears to have resolved the problem. So ever since Tuesday, we have been monitoring the location menus religiously and checking them multiple times a day. And so far, they haven't broken. And it's been over a week now, and we haven't seen any hiccups. So we're about 99.9% sure we have fixed the problem. And if we have, that's going to be a huge win for you guys, for everybody. But be assured that we're still monitoring them and will for the next couple of months, because now we're getting into accountability season, or will be very soon. And we want to make sure everybody can still access what they need to. But we're hoping that everything is working smoothly now. And for those that are frustrated because they can't get in and do the work that they need to do, that frustration will subside and they can actually do their work. So, yeah. Wanted to say also recently updated is the report catalog. Not sure if everybody is aware of this document. It is a support document that lists links, and it actually includes all the reports available on MISchoolData. It includes links to the reports. It'll give you information about when it's typically updated, what demographics are available in it, and the years are included in it, and whether or not you need a secure permission to view that. There was a recent update on September 1 that included details for all of the school data files that are available on the site. We just, prior to that, it was just a mention of additional data files for a content area, but we've listed them all out separately and included a brief description of each one of them, so that you know specifically what's included in them and the details about that. So wanted to make people aware of that. And up in the header, the report catalog, that's actually a link to the catalog itself. So you can click on that and go directly to it. And then coming soon, we've got some additional data, some parent dashboard metrics that are coming. So now you're starting to see like the participation and progress data. So that's starting to get into some of the accountability data. So that'll be out shortly within the next week or so. And then I wanted to also bring to your attention, speaking of accountability and accountability downloads, their MDE has created a new aggregate file for users to be able to download, and they're going to call it the School Index Aggregate. And so this is just aggregate data from your school index report. So instead of having to come to the accountability downloads page and having to download each district or school separately, you can now do it. If you're an ISD, you can now select that file and get all the data for all of the districts and schools within your ISD, or if you're a district, the district and all the schools within your district, and so on. So that will be available when we roll out the school index, and it's going to be available for school years 21, 22, and 22, 23. So just wanted to let you know about that. And of course, last but not least, there for any of the school services and offerings, updates that you want to see reflected in the school services and offerings report, we've got the scheduled dates of when you would need to go in and make your updates in the EEM for those to be visible in the next round of updates. So I just wanted to pass that information along to you so you're aware of when to go and make those updates. And I believe that's, oh, I'll talk about inactive account maintenance too. I forgot about that. We've been talking about this for a while, but I actually just talked to my manager about it yesterday, and we got sidetracked with all of the assessment data and all that just kind of took precedence over everything. So starting in October, and it'll be kind of mid-month, we'll actually get this finalized. So expect sometime in October, if somebody has not logged in the last 18 months, and we're still keeping it to the, I think, April 1, 2021 date that we originally started with. We will inactivate those accounts, and then we'll discuss when we want to do the next time frame and what that'll include. But expect to see that finalized sometime in October. And I think that's all I have.
I'm sorry, Cheryl, what date was that you said we're doing the as of?
I'm pretty sure it's April 1 of 2021. So it would have been 18 months prior to that date. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you for answering mine.
Okay.
No questions here.
Great, thank you,
I
Nicole.
appreciate all the updates. These are fantastic.
And Rhonda, if you'll walk us through our PD resources.
All right. We'll start with, maybe I need to get that out of there and then I can go down. Okay. There we go. All right, so we're just going to show you the quick access to the Train the Trainer resources. Please keep in mind that these resources that we've developed over the years are available from the accessing the support menu, clicking the PD toolkit, professional development toolkit, and then selecting the Train the Trainer network here. We are going through some transitions, and however, all the resources are still available, and more coming in the upcoming months on the progression of our changes that will be available to everyone. We also would like to just share, because many of our constituents are working on downloading state assessments and such. We have this link here for the quick start guides for state assessments. There's like a 5-part compilation of how you can go through that for downloading reports. And again, reminder that you need a secure login to be able to do that. And then any updates that you need with the new users. I know Cheryl talked about that a little bit with some changes there. This form was also updated in summer of 23. And we also have a quick start guide for new users that's available and gives you directions, pretty much the how to navigate through those permissions. So please feel free to utilize those resources that are available. And then coming soon, we have our special ed dashboard that will be updated. So we'll be announcing those in our talking points and any other communications that we send out to our various listservs. Any questions? All righty. We'll move into outreach and communication. This is just a reminder regarding with our new technical contacts as they are navigating the MISchoolData opportunities that are available for them for professional learning. We do have a system that we utilize for updating our contacts. It first starts at the ISD level through the General Education Leadership Network. That person is responsible for reporting on behalf of the Curriculum Accountability Technical or Professional Learning TTT person that's designated for each ISD. Kathy Miller is our liaison that works with that group, and we have a bulletin board that's published every month, and it includes the MISchoolData updates and resources and opportunities for any changes that would be considered for our key contacts. Then once those changes are updated, they are also downloadable in a PDF file with the help and support page on the MISchoolData website under K-12 personnel. And we also have a more itemized area under the PD toolkit that provides all of our technical and training contacts there as well. And those are represented by each ISD. And then also our, as Christy mentioned earlier, with our MESA representatives across our 10 regions, those folks are also listed in that area. So after that, the next steps for the ISDs is to review those updates and roles and permissions as a result of the contact changes. So just because your GELN contact updates those roles, that doesn't necessarily mean that we go in with the permissions, because at the ISD level, that's your responsibility to determine the sign-offs with the local superintendents and what permissions are granted based on those secure users. So that's the next steps that our group would be involved in as far as technical contacts. And then we also are migrating, I'm just going to throw this out there, it's not in full completion yet, but we're working on transitioning the Train the Trainer course into a professional learning resource that will be available in EduPaths for our new people that are coming in and want to take the MISchoolData course. So that's what's happening in the technical contact area. I already went through that. Upcoming training, presentations, and conferences that we have, our schedule is here that we know in terms of RFPs that have been approved and where we plan to be over the course of the year. However, if there's any areas that our stakeholders would like to see us be present, or if you would like to help, we certainly encourage that participation with our MISchoolData partners in terms of ISD representation. In September, we have been last week at GELN and MySIPN. October, we have a standing placeholder at the GELN meeting. And then we're also going to be at the MDE Continuous Improvement Conference. And then in November, our standing monthly with MySIPN and GELN. And then we're also the Michigan Association of School Boards. We've been approved again for their conference. So that's kind of like where we will be in the next few months. And then our recent publication of the September talking points, it has many of the items that are relevant to what Cheryl was discussing in terms of what's recently released in terms of reporting. And that publication you can get here from the link. It's also available if you work through the resources with the professional development toolkit on the website. And then we also have our archives for the talking points as well as the quick start guides. So those are just quick links to get you easy access to the Google Drive where these are located.
For new users, I typically will pick those quick start guides. A couple of them, depending on who the new user is, especially if like they're a special education director. We've had quite a few of those this year. So along with their account that I've helped them create, I'll give them that quick start guide as well. It's just like automatic, and that way it helps them get started without feeling like they should know, but they don't, and how could they, since they haven't accessed it before.
Mhm.
Thanks
Great.
for letting me interrupt.
Yes, great points, because that's what they're hoping to promote and be available for, just that purpose. We have our drop-in sessions. We're running these. We have them determined for the entire school year. The links are here. You can register at any time. Quick 30 minutes, and we will record these sessions, and they will be available for 30 days following the session, and we'll make sure those are out on the website. And then those that attend and register, you'll get a follow-up email with the resources and such as you want to share out with your various stakeholder groups. Any questions? All right. Well, with that, we thank you for attending today, Nicole. We also thank those that are unable to be here with us today in person. You will receive the recording and that will be available. And if you have any questions, please feel free to follow up. And thank you for attending. And we look forward to seeing you at our next session on November 29th.
Thank you. Appreciate you.